our television audience witnessed Dwayne Polee collapsing during the game, and then after that, several minutes later, was removed from the building and then taken to the local hospital. He underwent testing and was released the next afternoon. No results yet on the test. A short time ago, there was a press conference at Viejas, and Dwayne had these comments.
I got really dizzy and I just felt myself about to go down, and I was trying to catch my breath, but the first thing I heard was "get your man." So that was my first reaction. But it's always a scary feeling because you never know what the outcome may be, and I just want to thank God for blessing me with this chance to recover, because there's some people that don't bounce back from that. So I'm just grateful for that second chance.
We're grateful that he's back also, and hopefully he'll be back in shoes before long. Brad Holland has joined me, and Brad, those shoes are noticeably empty right now, and not an easy pair to fill.
I think the player that can eat up some of those minutes is 6'5" sophomore Dakari Allen. He's long, athletic, and is an excellent defender and can guard the same positions as Dwayne Polee.
Some good news coming from the Aztecs, and that is the play of Akil Quinn. He has really been terrific, smoking hot. He had 18 the other night, and 12, well, actually the first 12 points they had in that game.
He's really the one Aztec that has shot the ball very well from the perimeter. The other night against UC Riverside, he was 5 for 8 from 3 and scored those 18 points in just 21 minutes. Whether he starts or comes off the bench, Akil Quinn has really emerged into being a very valuable player for this Aztec team.
And San Diego Christian will see plenty of Akil Quinn tonight. You could bill this one a tune-up as both these schools get ready for conference play. It's time for a jump ball. The Hawks and Aztecs heading your way next on Fox Sports San Diego. Back at Viejas, we're ready to play some ball. That's the new coach, Edgar Mendez of the San Diego Christian Hawks. First-year head coach, replaced Tim Cook. And the Aztecs will be putting this kind of a lineup on the floor tonight. Kell and Quinn, Shepard, J.J. O'Brien, and Skylar Spencer in the well. There's a good look at Akil Quinn. He has been sensational, has bumped his season average over 10 points a game. So we're ready to go. Wirsing going against Spencer. And Wirsing, their biggest player, a senior at 6'8" and 220. He's their leading scorer and leading rebounder. Quinn to J.J. O'Brien. O'Brien played by Lambert. The officials at tonight's game, you just saw at the bottom of your screen. We'll get that back to you. O'Brien coming in. And we'll tell you that the keys to the game for tonight's game are being brought to you by Toyota.
Yeah, for San Diego Christian, Eddie, they want to keep the Aztecs off the offensive glass, not give them extra possessions. And for San Diego State, take care of the basketball. They've been committing too many turnovers as of late.
You saw Steve Fisher, an amazing record here, 10, 20-plus win seasons, 2 over 30, 7 NCAAs, 11 postseasons, including a Sweet 16 a year ago, and his guys are off to a 2-zip start. Wall-to-wall pressure immediately broken by the Hawks. That's their biggest concern as to how to handle this pressure. And there's Wirsing, their #1 scorer, and the biggest man on this team. They start very small, 5'8", 6'1", 6'2", 6'5", 6'8". In and out, Hoop didn't want it. That was Rodriguez on the attempt. This is a team of Lilliputians by today's basketball standards. Shepherd on the drive. A little 10-footer that was over the iron and down. Little jump stop attempt in a crowd and pummeled to the floor there, number 21, and that's Derek Thompson, their point guard, 5'8", 175.
Yeah, Thompson penetrating right off the initial get-go and did a nice job of getting his balance, but you go amongst the trees of San Diego State, you're going to get that shot blocked.
Inbound taken away. Here they come. Good man in the middle to O'Brien on a wing. Oh, couldn't get the layup. The follow from the weak side coming in is Winston Shepherd.
Yeah, Winston Shepherd did a nice job of not assuming that J.J. O'Brien would make that layup. He was right there to clean it up.
Shepherd averaging 10.7 a game. With the ball handling is Daniel Nielsen, not normally a starter. They usually use a fellow by the name of Pat McBride, but Nielsen gives him a little more offense. McBride is a defensive specialist. On the drive, Rodriguez. That's Nielsen, 6'2", 180 from Washington. Wirsing, clock melting down. 5 seconds left, he hit it. So Wirsing, whose real name is Beale-Wirsing, but that's a mouthful. I can't handle all that.
And that's a possession the Hawks are going to have to execute time and time again for them to be in this game. They work it around, be patient, don't turn the ball over, and then get a good look at the basket, and then you got to knock it down.
Here's a pass that's intercepted. Akil Quinn off the turnover. The pull-up, no good. That was Thompson. And the Aztecs with a rebound. San Diego State rebounding at about 36.5 boards a game to Kell. Off the back iron, and here they come on the fly with a 3-2 rush. Taking it to the basket, Rodriguez, and O'Brien with a rebound. And a caffeinated start by both teams. And a running one-hander off balance by Shepherd is good. And the Aztecs out to a 6-2 start. Back pressure by O'Brien. Break the heat. Pull up with an open shot. That's a good look. It doesn't get it. And the rebound dug out of the corner by O'Brien, but he stepped over bounds.
Yeah, San Diego State so far off the rebound are getting some nice open looks off the fast break. And Winston Shepherd, little crossover, little floater.
Randy McCall, Dick Cottonall, and Mike Cyphers are the officials working the game tonight, in case you didn't get it off the crawl earlier. Wirsing, spin move, open daylight, takes a little pull-up J, and he's got 2 more.
Yeah,
nice looking player.
Yeah, J.J. O'Brien went for the steal and missed. And Beale-Wirsing really did a nice job of just pulling up and taking the good look while he had it.
6'4", San Diego State, Wirsing with all 4 figures. O'Brien backing in against a team that gives up a lot of points and a lot of field goals, a lot of high percentage field goals. O'Brien, nice little one-on-one back in with a turnaround bank hook.
We're going to see that a lot, Eddie, where the Aztecs are trying to initiate their offense by going into the low block into J.J. O'Brien and let him operate. He may not shoot it, but let him operate down there and make a play out of the post.
The Hawks will go through Wirsing much the same way, but not only low, but high as well. There's a long bomb, and that gets nowhere except Shepherd's got. Very versatile player, Shepherd. You can see he brings the ball up 6'9". He can post up on the block. He can do a lot of things. That's Kell from St. Augustine's. Good board position by Wirsing. calls for help and gets, and here they come. Trying to handle San Diego State's pressure is a Herculean task, and Edgar Mendez is well aware of it. Well, he's just hoping he can do a yeoman job, so to speak, of trying to keep this team under control.
You're right. That's order one, is handle their full court and half court pressure. Order two is get a decent look at the basket and then shoot a very high percentage.
Well, that's 3 great looks that Nielsen has had. He's missed all 3, and they've been wide open. Quinn, he gets an open 3. Not him either. Try it again. Pulls the trigger, and this time nothing but blanks.
Those were 2 wide open threes, and that's the man, if you're the Aztecs, that's the man you want shooting those shots. They didn't go down.
Dribbling the ball between the rings is Derek Thompson, their point guard. Not much of a scorer, 6.6 points per game. But he's one of those Keeblers also. He's 5'8". Overplayed by Kell to force him to the base. Back out to Wirsing with the clock running down. How do you like this guy?
What I like what he did right there is he faked a pass, and Skylar Spencer respected it and shifted, you know, his body over just a step, and that made an opening for Beale-Wirsing.
8-7, Aztecs by 1. Drive to the base and a foul called. Kell draws. Aztecs will be back. We have a time with 14:23 in the first half. 8-7, Aztecs. Eight-7 Aztecs back at Viejas. Dwayne Pauly. The third member of our broadcast group tonight is Tabitha Lipkin, and she's got a comment. Tabitha?
Eddie, scary moments. That's how Dwayne Pauly described what he was going through Monday night. Now he says although he hasn't been cleared, he feels like he's been given a second chance. Coach Fisher stressing that the most important thing isn't basketball, but Pauly's health, and that's definitely the same sentiment that players felt here in Viejas Monday night. J.J. O'Brien saying that basketball suddenly became less important and the team was focused on Pauly's condition. And Pauly, while feeling better, hasn't been cleared to play, but will be with the team on the bench tonight. The Aztecs now playing for Pauly instead of playing beside him. Eddie, Brad.
Thank you so much, Tabitha. We'll hear from her on and off throughout the evening. 8-7 on the miss. That foul, incidentally, was charged to Lambert. That's Michael Lambert, who is probably one of their bigger players at 6'5". Believe that. And so the second of the two good. Now we're going to have Dariel Williams replacing Kell. Kell will go to the side. Freshman replaced by a sophomore. There's your backcourt heat. Up quickly they go Thompson, and he is fouled, bringing it over. And the pressure, of course, again, we've got to remind ourselves that this is the biggest concern that Edgar Mendez has got. See how his team can handle his heat.
Right, because if you turn it over before they're able to take a shot, that's going to reduce your ability to score in this game dramatically.
And a turnover, the Aztecs with a steal off the inbound, and then the discontinuation of the dribble. And what we now have is a turnover back going to the Hawks. And then inbound the ball mid-court. That's the second turnover for San Diego State. Aztecs coming into the game averaging 13.5 per game. Almost threw it away again. Rodriguez, open shot, pull up, nothing. Fight for the rebound underneath, and Lambert can't get a hold of it. Here they come. Williams playing more and more. Nice move inside for the kid from Sacramento.
A great move baseline, and did a nice job of shielding his body, protecting the ball, and going up with that left hand.
There's your pressure again. And coming over to help out is Nielsen. He's no giant either, giving away a lot of size. Angelo Chol in the game. He's 6'9", he runs like a gazelle. Off the top, side screen by Lambert. Rodriguez on the pull-up, forced to take the deep shot, not getting close to the rim. 11-7. Inside Chol, couldn't hang on. Need some Velcro mitts now.
Let's look at the nice back to Darrell Williams. Look how he looked off the defense. He saw out of the corner of his eye that the baseline was open. See that? Makes that quick explosion move, and then again protects the ball nicely and finishes with the left hand. Darrell Williams has really played well the last 3 or 4 games off the bench, and that's going to be important for the Aztecs because of all the injuries they've sustained.
Shrigley on the miss. A couple of new faces on for the Hawks. One would be the Prince Arsenault, and the other one would be a 5'6" guard. Not him. We're going to see him a little later on. Dion Davis, a local product here, who's in the game for the first time and now receding. Up, that's Rodriguez. They'll move these names in and out pretty good up along the base. And that's good by Derek Thompson.
Really good recognition by Rodriguez when he penetrated the lane that probably shouldn't take this shot. It's going to get blocked. He duped the defense into believing he would, and then that left open a nice passing lane over to Thompson.
11-9, 12:33 to play here in the first half. Down to Angelo. They back down, give him a momentary double. Backs in on Wirsing, peels it back to Allen.
Yeah, Angelo Chol's got to get back in the flow of playing again. You know, he's been out a couple games with his injured knee. And he's had severe tendonitis in that left knee, and that's hampered his ability to play in some of the games. And so he's just got to get with it here and get game ready because the Aztecs need him.
11-9. Wirsing played by Chol. Arsenault. Pass along the side. Forced pass by Davis. Stolen away. And look at Bakari Allen. That's the fella that's going to have to pick up some of the load in the absence of Dwayne Pauly. Look at the heat these guys are applying now. Well, they need it. The building's cold. That's a good one. Derek Thompson. 7 of the 10 players on this San Diego Christian roster are transfers, either junior college or transfers from another full 4-year school. And Chol tries to spin in, dropped the shoulder, rolled in inside on Wirsing, and a foul called on the play. Wirsing, Davis gets the foul. 13-11 to score. Aztecs. Neither team singeing the nets right now, but the Aztecs lead at 13-11. And interesting to note, Brad, that Steve Fisher, as we indicated, probably would happen, tuning up, trying a lot of different things, and one of them is the way he's rotating his lineups.
Yeah, he's platooning 5 guys for 5 guys, and we don't know if that's what he's going to do in the conference opener against Air Force next Wednesday, the 31st, but certainly he wants to keep his troops fresh tonight. He wants them playing extremely hard, getting after it defensively. So far in this game, he's substituting 5 for 5 to keep that going.
And on the other side, Edgar Mendez said that he would be doing a lot of different things tonight too to try and find out combinations, things they could do defensively, things that they might be able to put to work during their conference season. There's Edgar, very nice young man.
Well, whatever you're doing, the conference, 4 days away, you want it to work because you want to be playing really well, feeling like your team's playing really well going into league play.
Well, I'm a little surprised that the Hawks are trying to run as much as they are, but again, of course, San Diego State has kind of set the tempo. I can understand how that happens when one team sets the pace, the other team almost tries to follow suit or are forced into it, and a very nice way of breaking the pressure that time with Arsenault scoring.
Right, they've had no problem breaking full court pressure, the Aztecs so far, doing a nice job there, but whether the good shot, Eddie, comes early in the clock or late, you got to take it because you may not get another one with this Aztec defense.
Now watch it when the Hawks have the ball. If they have the chance, they want to slow it down. They want to try and control pace. They don't want to let this Aztec team, with all their athleticism and all these greyhounds they got on the team, they don't want them burning up the track. 15-13, SDSU by 2. Arsenault, not this time, and it's rebounded by Winston Shepard. Shepard, good statistics so far, even though the field goal shooting could be a little better. Had a good line the other night. The fellow that had the outstanding line was J.J. O'Brien. I mean, it was unreal. And on the turnover, here they come. Tough shot over a man whose hand was in his face. That was Thompson trying to shoot over Kell, 5'8" over 6'6". That's not a real good percentage. 15-13, down into the hole. They go to Spencer. Spencer with a turnaround, very nicely done. If they can get that kind of inside post play from him, they're going to really be tough.
They are. He took a nice step middle to set his guy to go back to his left shoulder, and Skylar Spencer can make those with his right hand. He's a lefty, but he's good with his right hand.
It's just an inside, real close range, high percentage distance. Aztecs doing a lot of scoring early here, 12 points in the paint. The Hawks have only had 2. 17-13. See how they're trying to let the air out now? And the coach said, quite frankly, all 5 men on the floor will have a needle in their hand, meaning that they would be able to let the air out of the ball.
But like I said, if they're early in the clock and they've got a wide open shot, they're likely going to take it because late in the clock they may not get a good look.
Inside Spencer again. There he is.
Well, I think this is what the Aztecs going forward need to do. They need to look inside first. Look inside first. Don't settle for a 3 or a perimeter jumper early in the possession. Go inside to Skylar Spencer or J.J. O'Brien. Go inside to out.
See, there you go. You have problems when you're not very tall and you're up against that kind of pressure. Oh, nice is that. Kell with a feed to J.J. And a timeout call by Edgar Mendez before this thing gets out of hand real quickly. So we have 8:34 to play here in the first half, and it's a 21-13 ball game. The Aztecs with the lead and starting to look like they're getting ready to pull away.
Yeah, I mean, Skylar Spencer, we just showed a couple of his baskets. If he can be a weapon inside, I mean, a real threat to where he can get his post defender in foul trouble, make a couple baskets, and just be a presence in there, that'll really help the Aztec offense.
Well, you're going against a team that's obviously undermanned. They have a couple of injuries, and that hasn't helped them. But they're small, and they've got to be smart. And in being smart, you got to be smart when you take the three balls. If you're going to shoot a lot of 3 balls, you better make sure you know how to make them. and they haven't had a lot of success at that. And at the other end, they give up a lot of shots. They're giving up 49% shooting to the opposition.
Right, but the Aztecs, I've been surprised. Their defense really hasn't been very good. I mean, credit the Hawks. They're moving the ball around pretty well and breaking the full court pressure. We'll see if they can do it again right here. But the Aztecs need to pick up their energy, allowing too many good looks by the Hawks so far in this game.
Michael Lambert broke the heat and then gave it up to Mark Eden. Now here's a real Lilliputian. He's 5'4", and there he is. And he's got a funky release when he shoots the ball. He flips it, which is not what coaches will teach you. Shepard, way short, ball loose, Arsenault. Here comes the little man. Eden is from Ontario, California. They list him at 5'6", but the coach says, he's 5'4", on his tippy toes. And that ball deflected out of bounds. We'll get it when they come back, but we have a timeout. 7:50 to play in the half. Boy, are we happy you're with us tonight. 21-13, San Diego State.
Points.
Aztecs on top, 21-13. Tabitha Lipkin's with us, and she's got a comment about one of the Aztecs. Tabitha?
Eddie, tonight we learned that the 4-star freshman recruit and power forward Zylan Cheatham will not be taking off his red shirt and not to fill any void left by Poli. Now, I spoke to Coach Fisher about this decision, and he said the reason is as they get deeper and deeper into the season, there's no reason to have him waste a year of eligibility. Now, Cheatham was quite the player in South Mountain High School in Arizona, considered one of the best in the state, averaging 23.9 points and 13.5 rebounds. Brad, let's talk about why it's a good decision to keep him with that extra year of eligibility.
Thank you, Tabitha. Brad, that's probably the most likely move, the most reasonable move.
It is. You want to do right by the young man, Eddie. You know, you don't want him to waste a year. If Coach Fisher doesn't feel he can help him win games right now, is trade a redshirt year for a 5th year down the road, and he has a chance to have an all-conference season.
And you've got the makings of a pretty good group coming in next year, because really he'd be in part of that group, even though he's here this year. But he hasn't played in quite a while. He had the surgery this summer, and he is a long way from really being game ready. Why take a chance?
Great point. He's coming off an injury, so he's really not 100% yet. So it looks pretty certain at this point that Cheatham's going to use a redshirt year.
Szabo in the ball game for San Diego State. That's Kevin Szabo, 6'2", a freshman from Quebec. Pope just came in during that timeout. Malik Pope. And we saw him do some scoring the other night. The ball off him, and they're going to give the ball to the San Diego Christian Hawks. Here's the Fab Four freshman class we alluded to. Szabo, Kell, Pope, and Cheatham. And Cheatham now drops back to the new class coming in, basically, because he has the ability to really add a nice dimension to a young group and will have a little experience in the sense that he's been working with the varsity all season long, coming up next year.
Exactly. A redshirt year, you can get a lot done and get better and get stronger and then be ready to go, which will be his redshirt freshman year. And so that looks like it's the plan.
Szabo blows right by the little guy, Eden, and is fouled on the way down the drain. So Szabo will be at the line. Team fouls now. That's Eden's first. The team foul number 4, but he was in the act of shooting.
Yeah, Szabo, he's point guard, and he saw an opening, and he took it to that right hand and created a foul for himself. Now he's got to make the free throws. Missed the first one. Hasn't had a lot of time for the Aztecs as of late. I think the coaching staff's a little concerned of his turnover rate. But they have high hopes for this young man to develop into being a top point guard.
Misses both free throws. 21-13 score holding. Eden comes to the top. Very quick. Lightning bug quick. Thompson looking for someone to dish to. Nobody there, or Nelson. That's Lambert on the reception. And now McBride for the first time tonight. Not much of an offensive player, mostly defense. Pope with a little crossover. Very nice move. Wow. From midcourt. Crossover right left. Hello, baby.
Well, we've talked about he grew up playing the guard position because he had a giant spurt when he was in high school, so he played guard up until then. But he's the one that made that entire play. He blocked the shot and took it the length of the floor for the dunk.
Looks like he took one step from midcourt. Man, look at this. Watch this.
Yeah,
boom.
Crossover. I mean, that's a 6'10" player, ladies and gentlemen, making a guard crossover move.
Aztecs on an 8-0 run. And who does it better than they when they get it cooking? Eden tries to draw it off the maple and does. Nielsen has really had a difficult time trying to hit the net. McBride, Wirsing. This is his second shot of the game, and Pope high to pull it down. Up the near side, Shrigley pulls the trigger. He's got 3.
Let me tell you right now what an advantage it is to have a player like Malik Pope that can rebound the basketball and take a couple power dribbles out and then kick it ahead to get an open shot for his team.
I can see why they're excited about him. Gets a little meat on the bones, a little maturation, a little more game experience, so he recognizes things easily on the floor during the flow of the action. Maybe something. Breakout, Shrigley. Shrigley trying to go up and take it in on a one-on-one, and he comes up with nothing with Daniel Nielsen back to defend.
Nothing frustrates you more as a player when you know you have a layup to be had, and you just kind of muff the play. It ends up being a turnover, no points.
26-13 is what we've got. 4:47 to play in the half. And Edgar Mendez is going to bring in 3 subs. The Prince is coming back along with Rodriguez and number 21, Derek Thompson. So Lambert goes out, McBride goes out. Somebody else snuck out when I wasn't watching.
And Eddie, the Hawks are in the danger zone right now. The last couple of minutes, the Aztecs defense is starting to take over in this game.
San Diego Christian not able to do anything right now. Dakari Allen. Down hard he goes, and he's okay. And look at the pressure being applied.
Yeah, Pope's all over the place. He made that steal with his long reach and then made a beautiful pass to Dakari Allen.
San Diego Christian has missed 10 straight field goals in a row. Got to get it going here, otherwise they're going to fall into the ocean. Wirsing does a 360, and he's bumped on the way in, so a foul will be called on the play, and the Hawks will have possession of the ball. 28-13 score of the ball game. San Diego State with a commanding lead and 4:10 to play here in the half. So far, San Diego State doing a good job, particularly in the paint. Now going to run a set play with 1 tick off the shot clock, so 34 seconds to do something. San Diego State thus far really controlling the paint. as I just mentioned. And the Hawks can't get close to the rim. They're only two points worth so far indeed. The Prince, he has it blocked. That was Pope. Out ahead, Zabel looks for the trailer. There he is. Deflected, Rodriguez. And Shrigley going up to try and gather it in. Is fouled on the play by Prince Arsenault. Timeout, 28-13. San Diego State. Back at Viejas, 28-13, big score. San Diego State with a nice run. They're on a 13-0 run right now, and that will do a lot for field goal shooting percentage. Now they're over 50% for the game.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Fisher's platooning again with a new 5, but that last 5, their 4 minutes or so that they played, they really extended this lead, led by Malik Pope. I mean, he was all over the floor, blocking shots, getting steals, made the one dunk, made the nice pass to Dakari Allen on the break after he stole it. So Malik Pope has been super productive so far in this game.
San Diego Christian will send out a couple of new players as well. Here's the 5 for San Diego State with Shrigley, Spencer, Kell, O'Brien, and Darrell Williams. So mix and match combinations for San Diego. Now Williams is going to sit to the side momentarily. He'll be coming in shortly to replace Shrigley. Spencer is also back in the ball game. Spencer's had a good run so far, done a nice job. And the Aztecs with a 20-2 edge in the paint. So that's good news. Aztecs the other night at the foul line in the game against UCR. Not good, 11 for 22. Tonight, a little bit better, 6 for 9.
Yeah, they're only shooting 62% on the year, Eddie, and so that number needs to climb to 70% in conference play if they're going to have a great league season.
Williams in for Shrigley. Nielsen trapped on the side, squeezes one along the side to Wirsing. You don't, as a coach, you don't ever like to see your guy against a trapping pressure like that come to the sideline, but they got away with it.
Especially near half court, right? That's the trapping area.
Inside, great move underneath as Arsenault, their #1 big man off the bench, squeezed one out of the pastry bag that time and got himself a pair. 30-15, Shepard on the turnaround. And Spencer can't hang on to it. Something evasive about that. Coming up on our halftime show, we'll take you inside the rebuilding of Thrive Public Schools playground, courtesy of our friends at Kaiser Permanente. We're going to talk to Brian Dutcher as well. It's all halftime. activity coming up. Look at this, along the side again. Boy, they play right into that pressure. Look at that. Deflected, out ahead, easy. Shepard.
Right, they're too long. The Aztecs are too long, too good for you to get in those trapping areas, as you said, on the sideline. It's disastrous for them so far.
You got to get to the middle of the floor, and they're not able to do that. And now suddenly it's 32-15.
Well, the pressure's really wearing on the San Diego Christian Hawks now. I mean, you can see it. The Aztecs have extended their lead to 17 and counting right here as Winston Shepard gets fouled and go to the line. So really the defense of San Diego State is taking over this game.
Arsenault on the foul. That's his second. That's their 6th team foul. And we have 2:32 to play here in the first half. Well, you know, this team, they try everybody. I mean, this team from San Diego Christian, they lost to Santa Clara, and I believe it was a 12-point loss, and then 10 to USD. And get this one, Brad. After this game tonight, all-night bus ride to Flagstaff, Arizona, to play Northern Arizona, and a 2 o'clock game tomorrow.
That's tough duty. That's like the minor leagues, right? Minor league baseball will do trips like that. But
that is brutal. And the shot missed by Shepard.
They want that experience, though, right? Of playing against Division I opponents, getting ready for the conference. Interestingly, this for them counts as an exhibition game, whereas for San Diego State, it counts on their schedule.
Yeah, and of course Steve Fisher is great about giving everybody a shot at his team, and that was one of the comments by Edgar Mendez, and that is Steve Fisher is absolutely great for the San Diego basketball community because he's with us, he helps us, he gives everybody a chance, and he lets us play them. Great man. Kell. Hot pass. Aztecs on their break are looking really sharp tonight.
Yeah, I think they're having some fun, Eddie. You know, they're getting some steals, they're getting the ball in the open floor. They really haven't been able to do that the last several games, so they're having a better time and more fun tonight.
10 steals for the Aztecs. There's a reversal of fate right there. Rodriguez, and inside to Wirsing, and Wirsing with an acrobatic 2, and it's 32-17.
Little penetration by Rodriguez, gets deflected. Here's Winston Shepard, and just delivers the ball to Trey Kell at the perfect time. He makes that defender commit to him, and that's when you want to lay it off to your teammate, as he did right there to Trey Kell. 9
points now for Wirsing, but I think you have to underscore those 10 steals for San Diego State.
Well, again, their defense has taken over in this game. They're so long and athletic. It's really given San Diego Christian some fits now in those last 10 minutes of this first half, as we see a double team right here, and the long arms of Dakari Allen just gobbles up the ball, and he finishes it with a dunk. And we talked about the activity of Malik Pope with his shot blocking and getting steals. Another steal right there by J.J. O'Brien, kicking it ahead to Winston Shepard. So it's really fun to see the Aztecs in this game get those steals, get the ball out, get some easy baskets, which they haven't been able to enjoy in the last few games.
Aztec defense creating turnovers, 10 of them so far, resulting in 15 points. In the middle, O'Brien. Block shot, Wirsing. Out of there with it in the middle that time, Rodriguez, and he overleads him and out of bounds.
And that's what the Hawks can't do. They had a nice defensive possession. They played zone right there against the Aztecs. Aztecs turned it over. They've got 6 turnovers now. That'll be talked about at halftime, because Coach Fisher and his staff are not happy with the propensity of turning the ball over in this season so far for San Diego State.
Dion Davis back in the game for the San Diego Christian Hawks, wearing number 10, defending on Shepard. That's a mismatch on size. My goodness, Shepard at 6'9" shoots it over Davis. Just as we were talking about it, he had no chance defending there. None. Davis went to Crawford High School here in San Diego, and that's where Edgar Mendez went to school. It's not far from here, as a matter of fact. Wirsing, Davis, Thompson, handling in that order. Arsenault on the well, back to Wirsing. Look at this. Your biggest man shooting 3 ball. And I mean, he's got radar on that thing.
Yeah, he's shooting 40% from 3. He doesn't take a ton of them, but man, he's a good-looking shooter from out there.
Got a lot of trajectory on that ball. He's got 12 points here tonight. Final seconds of the first half. Shepard's going to let it rip. Can't do it. Follow-up tip. Not there. That's the end of the first half. At the end of the half, the Aztecs in control by 18. Coming up next, our friends at Kaiser Permanente teaming up with Fox Sports San Diego to give back to the community. And who will the Aztecs rely on in the second half? Well, we'll find out. Halftime, 38-20, SDSU.